Hello, good morning. We are almost in the time to start our webinar. I just would like to give more minutes for other people to join. And before it, I'd like to introduce myself to those who doesn't know me yet. I'm Anna Ryzhkova. I'm Senior Territory Sales Representative. I'm responsible for the sales of core and consumer hard drives and SSDs as well in Baltic countries and part of Central Asia, Ukraine, etc. And I'm happy to introduce my colleague, Carol Naroshchik, who is Surveillance Sales Manager for Eastern Europe. So we will have several parts of the presentation. I will cover like general information and a bit regarding Iron Wolf for those drives which we recommend to use for NAS systems. And Carol for sure will cover all the information regarding Skyhawk AI, and video surveillance segment. So just to add one more comment, we have a chat here. So if you have any questions, could you please put your questions into the chat? And at the end of the presentation, we will have several minutes to answer all your questions. I do hope that this presentation will be informative for you, and you will be using some hints what you've got today from our side. So give me a sec. So, and the first assumption was that the data, the volume of the data till 2025 will be 158 petabytes in total. But the next prediction, we can see that it will be even more. And in total, IDC predict that the total data around the world in 2025 year will be about 175 zettabytes. How it can be done and why it's so important for us, for you, for your customers, because to store the data, customers will need storage where they can do it, right? And we are pretty sure that the data is more important and more valuable than the storage itself. So no matter what the price is for the storage, for sure it matters, but not that much, because when you need to store your valuable data, then you need to buy more and more storage. That's why it's even more important than it was in the past to switch to higher capacities. And today we will give you a bit information how to do it easy in the nearest future. People use more and more devices, and even if you compare our lives like with 5 years ago and now, and what we can predict to estimate in 5 years, so for sure there is a huge difference. We use a lot of different mobile devices, and again, we switch from 3G to 4G, then from 4G to 5G, the speed is higher. So we have more and more opportunity to create more data and transfer it faster. And for sure, again, you know that that is not a secret that a lot of data are already created based on the data which was collected earlier, right? And when you analyze the data, you can open new businesses, you can make your business to work properly, you can decrease total cost of ownership, etc., etc. And that's why all it's about data and the way how to store it. Carol, the stage is yours.
Okay, and the 5G internet connection allows us just to put more devices on the 1 square kilometer, and and those devices they can send to us, they can create to us not only like a pure video stream, but also that the IoT devices they can create for us metadata. So about the information about the objects, about the color, about the size, about the crossing the lines, etc. And with one system, I will tell you about the video systems, surveillance systems. From the one system, from the one good prepared system, we can use the same data, more or less the same data, just generated by the system in a different way. And let's take on the table just shop gallery with the few types of the cameras, but one same video surveillance system. So we for sure that security guys would like to know if anybody steals something from the shelves or somewhere else. So this is the one purpose for the use of our video stream data. But the gallery management, they would like to know how many people is already inside, especially during the pandemic time. They would like to know, they would like to count. They have to count people inside. That could be done for the camera just automatically from the surveillance system. Marketing department would like to know if the new promotion is so interesting for the customers. How much time they will spend in front of this new marketing activity, or they would like to measure how attractive is the place they would like to rent to the third party company with some money. So that means if the customers they would like stay here, not over there, so this is the more attractive place, so they can earn more money for this. And that could be a shop gallery just next to the airport. And for example, they would like the people from the airport, from the management, they would like to know what is the temperature of the body, the foreigners that already came back to the country. And even my friends just told me, oh, I passed the gates in the airport, but nobody measured my temperature. For sure it was measured, but it was done remotely, so that means all the same cameras. And mask detection could be also used. If it's mandatory to wear a mask, we can use the same system, the same cameras, but differently from the data what they can generate for us. And we are using one video system, but the purpose of those data is pretty different. As Anna mentions, created data allow us to create the result of the data. So if there is, for example, enough people just in the shop gallery, please turn on the red line and do not allow anybody to enter. Or if anybody is not wearing a mask, please give a shout and don't allow to join to the marketing event, for example, just in the gallery. So that means a lot of data, different data, can be created from the same sources, like a one good prepared video system. And the next one, oh no, I mentioned about the AI data that we have the pretty new cameras with some functions, and depends on the situation. If we have the video stream, just pure video stream from the camera, it's pretty easy to calculate how much space we should prepare for our data. So we have numbers of camera, we have the resolution or bandwidth, frames per second, that it's related to the bandwidth, and we can easily calculate that, for example, for 30 days of retention, we need like a 6 terabytes drive, and it's pretty easy. But it's not so easy with the AI cameras. So that means I am showing on the diagram how much IoT can influence of our stream that will be provided by camera, and we must store it. So if we are operating on the up to 60 events per minute, no, it's nothing special. Okay, we should prepare some extra space for this, but it will be not so big. But if we have a lot of events in 1 minute, so more than 60, so more than one per second, our space for the data will be increased much more than previously. So that means we must prepare much more space just for the events from the IoT functions than the standard one. And here the Seagate recommendation is if you have the standard NVR, DVR, and the standard cameras, Skyhawk is enough. But if you have the artificial intelligence functions in your systems, please use the Skyhawk AI family just to secure your data there. That is the big change, that there is almost not we don't have any systems, just one or two cameras. Here will be involved with the system with the artificial intelligence. And what also was changed here from few years. So few years ago we have the endpoints, like we have on the left side. No matter this is the camera, this is the video door station camera or something like this. This is still for us the endpoint. And in the central we had and still have some recorders, DVRs and VRs, no matter. So the left side and the centers, like endpoints and NVRs, are still the same. We must think about the high resolution of the cameras, IoT functions. So just adjust to the situation. But there is something new on the right side. This is the cloud. So for us, with the 5G internet connection, we would like to use our data just immediately and every time and anywhere. So that means if we have the endpoints and the standalone recorder not connected to the internet, it's not enough. So we are thinking about the peer-to-peer connection, web clients and cloud. And on the right side, we are showing that we can use public cloud or private cloud. What does it mean? With the public cloud, it's pretty easy, pretty cheap, pretty fast. You can just buy some subscription and you will get the space for in the cloud. But even with the 5G connections, if we have so big resolution and so much data, just somewhere in the data sphere, sometimes even 5G internet connection is not enough. So we must think about our private cloud, which could be set up by the Seagate devices and used really frequently by end users. From the other side, if you are talking about the surveillance systems, we must think if we can move sensitive data. In many cases, surveillance data are sensitive data. If we can move those data just to the public cloud, if yes, what agreements we should sign with the cloud supplier. So there is something we should think about. That we know that cloud is the part of our surveillance system, but the question is, would we like to use the private cloud or the public one? Decision must be done by you. And we have so Anna told us about how much that data sphere will increase. And I just told you from which side and how it will be impacted by surveillance storage, and what Seagate can answer on this data demand.
Yeah, so I would like to tell you that regarding Hammer, this is a technology which Seagate deals quite for very long period of time. And in the past, actually, we and other vendors, they faced with the main issue that the capacity of the plate was achieved and it wasn't possible to make it higher. So it means that if the density was achieved, the maximum density of the platter was achieved, and we need to produce the hard drive of higher capacity, then we have the only one option, just to add like another platter into the hard drive, right? And for sure, this is not the best option, because in this case, all the hard drives, they will be of different size, which is absolutely not convenient and can't be accepted by the technology, right? Um, you know that we and some other companies in the past used helium for hard drives to increase the volume of hard drive. But anyway, for most of the drives which were produced in the past, we used perpendicular magnetic recording technology. And you can see here that if we continue to use only this technology, so for us, there will not be space enough to increase the volume of hard drive and achieve much higher volume than is possible for the moment. But when we are talking about Hammer, this is heated assisted magnetic recording. This is completely another technology. When we use a small laser, and you can see it here on the picture, right, to hit the platter of the hard drive and to put almost twice data more on the same square inch on the platter of the hard drive. So using this technology, we will be able to dramatically increase the volume of hard drives. And here you can see that we forecast that in the nearest future, we will have hard drive capacity of 30 TB. And in the nearest future, after it, we are planning to have it like 50 TB per hard drive. Here you can ask a question regarding laser and heating of the platter, because yes, for sure, in the past you've heard a lot that hard drives, they don't like high temperature, they don't need to be heated, there should be proper cooling, etc., and that is absolutely true. But here we use another technology, and it helps a lot because within nanoseconds, it takes really just several nanoseconds to hit the platter, to put the data, and to cool it, right? So it will not have any kind of impact on the working temperature of the hard drive and on the performance of the hard drive. Actually, we produce quite a large number of the drives with this technology, with Hammer, and we can prove, and we proved already, that these hard drives, they will be as reliable as our enterprise drives with perpendicular magnetic recording, which we used in the past. So this the technology which help us to increase the volume of hard drives, so it will be easier for all of us to store more information on the same hard drive like in the past, right? And the second technology, which is called Mark II, this technology help us to increase performance of the hard drive, because you know that in some markets or in some segments, for sure, SSDs take an advantage on hard drives, but it's not when we are talking about volume or high capacity hard drives, right? Because still it's more expensive. But when we are talking about low segment, then for sure some part was taken by SSDs. But why we need Mark II? Mark II helps us to increase performance of the hard drive almost twice, because we have two accelerators here, and it helps us to increase the performance of the hard drive when we are talking about reading information to it, right? So when we combine both technologies like Hammer and Mark II, it will give us all the advantages which are needed for hard drive to be the technology of the future. For the moment, when we are talking about Mark II, we have the only capacity which is 14 TB, and you can order it through our distribution channel. It's already available, I think, about 1 year and a half or something like that. And in the nearest future, we plan to add other capacities into the segment as well. Uh, Carol, the stage is yours again.
Yeah, and for what we have such technologies. So that means that we have the HAM, so we will have the 3.5-inch up to 50 terabytes the single drive. We'll have Mach 2 just to make it faster than double IOPS in the drives. For that there is no one size fits to the all in video surveillance. So that means in the past, we used like a 2 megapixel cameras and, for example, the 2 terabyte drives and some types of recorders. And the world is changing, the technology is changing, and the customers' demands are changing. And there is not good just to install the same cameras in the small shop and the same cameras with the same technology just inside the airport. And if we are using the different type of cameras, different functions, so we should prepare the different drives and different space like in the machine. So that's the reason we must be aware how to put everything together. And I would like to share with you some information about the large video systems, how from our side it's recommended to just build the architecture, the storage architecture. No matter what we have on the left side, this still that's for us that's the endpoint. So cameras and other devices, the front devices, which is still fine for us. And no matter what is on the right side, there is some admin, the control room, web client, mobile client. No matter from the storage perspective, it could be the service could be provided by us, no matter what will be on the right side. But what is important? The important is part in the middle. So if, as I mentioned, that's in the few minutes back. So if we are using the standard cameras without the IoT functions, and we have like 16, 20 cameras, we can use Skyhawk for this. But if we have even only one camera with the artificial intelligence functions, please think about the Skyhawk AI. Different drive with different performance and different support for your data. And that is for the recorders, DVRs and VRs, so Skyhawk. But if you would like to use like a SIM software, and you would like to have the storage server, please focus on the exhaust drives. The corporate class drive, slightly different than the Skyhawk, but dedicated for the servers and matrix. Even if you would like to have like a video archive, for example, you have 30 shops, and during the night you would like to make the archive from some cameras, from some shops, from some locations, and you have the storage matrix, please focus on the exhaust drives. And if you would like to have like a mobile client, web client, as I mentioned, it's not matter. We can support it, but our recommendation is to use just in the middle between the exhaust drives from the server, and just between to the server and the customers, we are recommending just to use the Nitro, which is the SSD drive. So just have a look. One bigger system, just like a 200 plus cameras, and we should use like a 4 types of lines, product lines from the Seagate side. So please use the proper drives from the proper case. Few words about the portfolio. Just as I mentioned, we have the Skyhawk from 1 TB up to 8 TB, 3 years warranty, 130 terabytes workload, yearly workload, and health management from 4 TB and plus, and rescue from 2 TB and above. And Skyhawk AI from 8 TB up to 20 TB, which is really important here. That please be aware that all Skyhawk AI version they have 5 years warranty free of charge from the Seagate side, rescue services 3 years for this, and the health management from 4 TB and above. This is really important here that all Skyhawks AI they have included 5 years Seagate warranty. And we have the exhaust from 1 up to 20 TB, 5 years warranty, 550 terabyte like a yearly workload, and 2.5 million of the MTBF. So that is the portfolio from 1 TB up to 20 TB now. Please use the proper drive. So let's make the short comparison with the Barracuda, which is the desktop drive, and the exhaust drive that I already mentioned. That the Skyhawk and exhaust they are prepared for the 24 hours per 7 days for the work. Barracuda only 8 hours per 5 working days during the week. Stream optimized for Skyhawk, nothing for the Barracuda. Barracuda 2 years warranty, 3 years for Skyhawk, 5 years for Skyhawk AI and exhaust. Yearly workload, Barracuda, just have a look, only 60 terabytes, which is 9 times less compared to the Skyhawk AI. Camera support, up to 64 HD cameras for Skyhawk, nothing for Barracuda. And not rescue for the Barracuda and exhaust. So if you would like to have the rescue, which is really important, please use the Skyhawk drives here. What else the Skyhawks already have inside? Also, we have the Skyhawk Image Perfect here, which is the firmware inside and the features inside of the inside the drive, the Skyhawk drives. What does it mean, Image Perfect? Image Perfect. So that means we didn't lose any frames. We didn't drop any frames. What does it mean just to lose one frame? I'm not sure if you are aware that the nowadays compression type, this is H264, H265, which is working based on differences. So that means depends on the level of the compression. We have main frames with the full picture of our scene, and the other frames can be made just by the differences, so that mainly that is based by moving objects, something what already was changed into the scene. So that means we have the main frame with the full picture, and after the just differences, and after few frames we have still the full pictures. So that means if we will lost even the one frame, which could be the main frame, we can lost, for example, 6 frames earlier and 6 frames just farther. So that means in fact you will lost like a 12 frames in fact. So that will be the huge loss from the video perspective. My favorite example, that you are seeing your car and the man with hammer, and after 5 seconds it's a big scratch or the glass is broken. Okay, so you can think this guy made this, but you cannot prove it. You just lost one frame. In fact, for example, 12 frames, but you cannot prove it that these guys did it. So this is the additional function just under this Skyhook cover. So please don't be afraid. Skyhook is working for you for data, and we prevent to dropped frames. And we have also the health management, which I mentioned that here. Health management is the feature that Skyhook drives can send to the recorders around 105 parameters about their conditions. And with the main supplier of the DVRs and VRs in the world, we made something which is health management. So that means you can read some parameters directly from the GUI of the recorder. Not only the parameters like temperature, like working hours, bed sectors, but many more depends on the firmware directly from the recorder. So without any external connection with the desktop, without any smart software, you can read the parameters from the recorder about the drives. And what is also important here, yeah, just could be like this, that 12 drives all are green. That could be, you can get some visualization directly from the recorder. That okay, all drives like a green, so it's working pretty well. And for example, one drive could be changed into the orange one. So that means, for example, okay, let's imagine that we got already notification about the overheating. So okay, dear customers, please check filters, please check fans, please check the air conditioning inside the building, because I am over temperature, I have a higher temperature, so I can fail in the short time. So not only you can read directly from the GUI of the recorder, but also you can get some notification. Depends on the firmware from the recorder side. And there is 3 steps in the health management. Prevention, so that means okay, that checks what's going on. Intervention, so replace the drive just to avoid the situation, just to lose the data. And the last step, this is recovery. Recovery, this is something really important, and Seagate is the only one in-house manufacturer that we are managing the rescue services by ourselves. And for Skyhawks, 3 years, for 3 years, for each Skyhawk, it is the free of charge. So 2 TB and above, 1 TB is not included here, but 3 TB, 2 TB and above, all they are, or in those drives, we have the rescue included. So if that during the warranty time the drive will go failed, but you would like to get your data back, please ask Seagate, and Seagate will make it by themselves, so by ourselves in our laboratory, and we'll get your data back just free of charge. 3 years of services without extra money. What is important with the rescue for the partner? So this is the competitive advantage. So nobody outside of Seagate is offering something like this without any fees. You can get the customer loyalty, because you know that everything could be wrong, but if you will get your data back, the data for your customers, just for free, you for sure you can expect that the next business you will do this with the same customer. And also the upsell opportunities. So that means you can offer something more, or you can for free, or you can just add some money because you are providing some better services than the others. So the competitive advantage, customer loyalty, and the upsell opportunities is something which Seagate is giving for you. Okay, here we have that we know that you know about the Skyhook so much. So let's go.
When we agreed with Elena what could be interested for you to know, we agreed that we'll add as well information regarding our Iron Wolf and Iron Wolf Pro hard drives, which we recommend to use for NAS environment. We have as well not hard drives only, but as well SSDs, and I will show you several slides how it works and what is good when you use specialized drives for every segment. Carol told you about Skyhawk and showed the difference in between Barracuda, which is a desktop hard drive, right, and with Skyhawk. Now I will show you information regarding Iron Wolf and Iron Wolf Pro. What I'd like to mention here as well, that in October we made an improvement of our Iron Wolf Pro series. And here you can find the comparison of standard Iron Wolf, where we have drives from 1 TB till 12 TB, and comparison of two Iron Wolf Pro, an old one and new one. For sure, let's pay more attention to a new one, because old one is already end of life, and you'll have an option only to order a new one, where in the product code will be letters NT. With every new generation of hard drives, we are improving them as much as possible from the performance perspective, reliability perspective, and other points as well. So when we are talking regarding standard Iron Wolf Pro, we recommend to use these hard drives into the system up to 8 bay. And when we are talking about Iron Wolf Pro, especially new one, there is no limitation, so you could use them almost absolutely the same like enterprise drive or access in the past. So there's no limits, and you can put them into different type and kind of systems. When we are talking about workload, so for standard Iron Wolf, it's 180 GB per year. It's 1 million MTBF. But when we are talking about Iron Wolf Pro, new version, it has the same parameters like standard classical enterprise hard drive, so till 2.5 million hours of MTBF and 550 GB per year when we are talking regarding workload. So as well, you can pay attention to the speed, that Iron Wolf Pro will have the same speed as Exos, and our standard Iron Wolf will be a little bit lower, right? It will be only 240 megabytes per second. But the good point here that we have for Iron Wolf and Iron Wolf Pro as well, we have health management, and as well we have rescue, the same like we have for Skyhawk. And actually, Carol mentioned that we are the only vendor in the industry who supported these services for you. For sure, this is a very good advantage, especially for end user, because in the past, when we spoke about enterprise segment or servers, then we could make an assumption that there is some special people who will check how it works, to be sure that enterprise will store all the data of the companies, etc., etc. But a lot of end users use NAS devices to store their data. Some of them could be very professional, some of them could be just those who started to use this kind of devices. And unfortunately, there can be a situation when the drive fails. But due to using health management, it's almost not possible, because I will tell about it a bit later more in details, because there will be a special slide for it. And just now let me skip to another one where we show how to use by segments Iron Wolf and Iron Wolf Pro. And here as well information regarding home users, so SOHO or small to medium business, where mostly we recommend to use Iron Wolf, because in most of the cases in this kind of environment, people don't need devices more than 8 bays. In most of the cases, it's more than enough for them to use this kind of devices to store all the data. And the good thing with NAS is that you can give different kinds of access, right? And the people around the world can have access to the data which is stored on NAS device. When we are talking about larger companies, or again, it can depend on the segment where you deal, right? If it's about something related to photo or movie or to some designer projects, for sure you'll need more place to store your data. And in this case, for sure, it can be large NAS devices where we recommend to use Iron Wolf Pro NT version. And very good point for Iron Wolf Pro NT version is that we decreased the sound of the hard drive, so it will be not that loud as Access, for example, and it will consume less electricity than Access drives, which is very good for medium business, right? Especially nowadays. And for sure, on top, when we are talking about large devices, here we always recommend to use Access. Uh, when we are talking about Iron Wolf, actually most of this detail was covered already by me on the first slide, but you need to know that Iron Wolf Pro or Iron Wolf, these hard drives, they are tough. They're ready to work 24/7, and it's easy to scale them. Yes, so when you need to add just more space, you just need to add more hard drives, or you just can easily change the previous generation to a new one, and it will work absolutely without any issue. As well, for Iron Wolf, we have RV sensors. This is very important because the more hard drives you put into one system, the more heat will be there and the more vibration will be there. And this technology, it helps to keep stable performance of the hard drive. You don't need to do anything additionally. It will be done on behalf of you, right? So you're sure that everything is fine with the drive, everything is fine with the system, and which is the most important, that data is safely stored on this kind of hard drives. And we deal with the main NAS vendors like QNAP, Synology, Asustor, and Tecus. So you can be sure that health management will work with all these vendors. We used to recommend to check preliminary their technical information from their side to be sure, but in most of the cases, health management will work and you will be safe and your data is safe. Again, a bit information regarding RAID controller, because you know that when you put several hard disk drives into the system, you can combine them into the RAID. From one hand, you will get maybe less space, but you'll be more protected. But it's for you to decide how you will use it. You can use it 0, 1 to 4, depends on your demand actually, right? When we are talking about SSDs in this segment, we have different lines. It can be SATA SSD and it can be PCI Express and NVMe SSD. Again, they're tough. I mean, they're reliable. They're ready 24/7 because we are not using just standard client SSD here. We use another technology. So for you to be sure that it's reliable and it can work 24/7 and the data is safe and the speed will as high as you need it. And again, the same as hard drives, it's easy to scale because we have for SATA we have different type of SSDs from 240 gig up to 40B, and when we are talking about PCI Express and NVMe, it's about 2 TB for the moment, 1.9. So here is just a slight comparison of SATA SSD and PCI Express and NVMe SSD. It depends what you need most. If you need the speed, then for sure we need to go for PCI Express and NVMe interface, because for the moment it's the highest, the fastest technology, right? Where we have for SATA SSD we have only 560 megabytes per second, which is quite good for SATA. But when we are talking regarding PCI Express and NVMe SSD, then you will see that the speed could be up to 3000 and above, right? For endurance, for SATA, we have two options. It can be 0.7 disk written per day, and when we are talking about PCI Express and NVMe, it's only one option for the moment, one drive written per day. From a workload and warranty perspective, it's the same. Yeah, it's 1.8 million hours and 5 years warranty from Seagate side. And you see there is Iron Wolf Health Management as well included for SSDs, and 3 years rescue data recovery service, which you can use once within these 3 years. If something wrong happened with SSD or with a hard drive, then you have this opportunity to restore your data from Seagate. And now I'd like to give you a bit more details regarding Iron Wolf Health, how it works, and what it gives to your end customer to be protected and insured from all the sides, right? So it helps you to prevent data loss or wrong way of system works, to intervene in time if there is any issue, and in case something went very bad, then just to recover the data. So it works in the way that at the first step, when the customer assembled the NAS system and install Iron Wolf hard drives or SSDs into it. Only once it's needed to go to settings and to put the time frame or how often you'd like the drives to be tested within the system. We used to recommend to you this time frame about 24 hours. For sure, it's for you to decide. It can be less, it can be more. And all the hard drives and SSDs, if it's Iron Wolf or Iron Wolf Pro, they will be tested within this time frame. So only once you need to make something in the system, yeah, and later on it will be done automatically. So there is no like people factor or something like that. I forgot, I missed or something, right? So it will be done automatically, and the hard drives and SSDs will be tested with 100 plus parameters, and you'll get the feedback. So if the drive was tested and everything is good, then there will be like a green indicator. If there is some kind of an issue, it will be a yellow one, and some recommendation what you need to do with it to avoid any further issue with the hard drive. And if it's red, then for sure you need to restore the data. When we are talking about restore of the data, you see, it's for 3 years for all Iron Wolf Pro, Iron Wolf HDD and SSDs as well. We can restore the data within our factories. We have quite high rate for it. It's about 90%. Depends on the situation, depends on how the hard drive was impacted. But actually, it's really very good point here for the customer to be on the safe side, and which is as well very important from my point of view, that we can guarantee that the data will be provided back only to the end customer. So it's absolutely not possible that the data will go somewhere out. And from Seagate side, we can guarantee it, right? As well, one more very important point I'd like to mention here, that when you try to restore the data at first time, it's possible to restore the largest part of the data. So with every next try to recover the data or to restore the data from the hard drive, you'll get less and less data. That's why it's so important from the first try to go to the proper place and to get back all your data as much as possible, right? How it works only for the end customer, and if something wrong happened with the drive, the end customer just need to go to seagate.com to our services and to fill an application and to get instructions where he needs to send the drive, or if UPS will come and pick it up from the end customer. Most likely for Baltic countries, it will be the second scenario, that UPS just will come to the end customer and will pick up the drive to deliver it to Seagate, and then we restore the data and send it back to the customer. Carol, this is your time again.
Yeah, exactly. So that means we already told you about the data sphere, how it will be growing, and we share some information about the Seagate technologies to cover this demand. I covered the Skyhawk part, Anna covered the Iron Wolf part. That's the most important two product line for us here right now, as I'm the VIA segment Seagate sales rep. And just have a look on the full portfolio somehow from Seagate side. So if we are talking about the surveillance application, so and some partially is covered by Exos from the other side, from the storage side, like a Matrix, but just from the product parts, we have from Skyhawk, from the edge to the cloud by Exos, just somewhere in the middle, like Nitro, and also for the NAS specification Iron Wolf. But also that this is not everything from the Seagate side. Seagate can offer much more, and one of the example is the enterprise storage systems. So if you need any storage larger than the single device, single drives, please ask about the storage enterprise storage systems. We have 2U12, we have 2U24, 5U84, 106, and we by the encoders we can match them. If you need even 7 petabytes, like large storage for your systems, no matter this is the VIA segment or the some server storage or wherever, just let us know. We will prepare for you excellent solution combined with the enterprise storage systems together with the proper drives inside. And that's it. In the meantime, I wrote in the chat that if you have any questions related to today's topic about the data sphere, about the Seagate portfolio, Seagate technologies, please write it down.
Alexander wrote in Latvian, but he doesn't have questions for now. And thank you. It was in Latvian, yes.
Okay.
Thanks, Alexander.
Then in this case, I'd like to say a big thank you from my side to Elena, to Beka Latvia, to all the partners who were able to find the time and to join this webinar. I hope this is just the beginning and we will be able to run more sessions in the future. So it would be really great to get some kind of feedback of what part was the most interesting for you, what kind of information you need more from our side, which will help you to sell Skyhawk, Exos, Iron Wolf, any Seagate hard drives, right? So just let us know and we are happy to support you always.
Yeah, if you forgot our emails, which are not pretty easy, maybe remember, just you can also find us by Elena. Also, if you would like to find me on LinkedIn or Anna, just let us know. Just find us.